Hey, it's Dustin, and today I'm going to talk about DALL-E 3. If you didn't know, DALL-E 3 functionality is now built into ChatGPT 4. So if you've got Premium, then you have the ability to create really cool looking images right within ChatGPT. So I'm going to show you some examples of images that I've made as well as the prompts that I used, and then you can kind of base your own needs off of like what I've created. You can kind of plug in your own words where I've used them. But first I just want to talk about, so I've researched a bunch of YouTube videos about prompting in DALL-E 3, and the best one that I came across was by someone named Royal Skies. So I'm going to link to the original video that I watched on this in the description. But basically he gives these points that you want to include in every prompt that you create for DALL-E 3. So the first one is like a mood or emotion that you want to evoke with your image. The second is quality. Lens. This one is a bit difficult unless you're like familiar with photography. You might not know. Aside from like, I know what fisheye lenses and stuff like that are, but I don't know what the difference is between like a 300mm lens or a 50mm lens. But if you Google, you can look that up and that might help you as well. And then obviously a description. So that's kind of the default thing that most people would put in, as well as the subject and the setting. So those are the kind of details that everybody knows to include in their image prompts. It's something like a man sitting in a forest with a volcano erupting in the background or something like that, and you would get an image. And then the next point is purpose. So it's whatever you're using the image for. Is it like promotional? Are you like making a book cover with it? Is it like an advertisement? And then destination is like where it would be, like on a company website or social media, stuff like that. So the example that Royal Skies gave in their video was epic 300mm professional promotional commercial advertisement for Red Jordans 11 movie poster trending on Nike website. So you can kind of take that main formula that's at the top in red there and apply it to your own image creation. But I'm going to hop over into ChatGPT and we can kind of go through some examples that I've created with that framework. So the first one here, I said, mind-bending, fisheye lens, professional, artistic, surrealist, children's book illustration featuring psychedelic ayahuasca DMT visuals that evokes themes from The Matrix and Inception and Buddhism. So they came up with some pretty cool images here. I don't know if I'd necessarily call this like children's book, but it's really cool. You can see kind of like the psychedelic inspired imagery for sure. Most of the images, because I mentioned The Matrix, it's just got like this green hex binary code in the background, which is okay. It's just kind of like cliche, I guess. This kind of reminds me more of like an Inception thing that I put in it because it's like the city and it's all kind of folding weird with octopus tentacles and stuff in it. Same thing there. I think this is supposed to be like a giant snake going through the city maybe. So that's one prompt that I did. Then I wanted to try like an anime style one. So we got here, I said, wacky professional entertainment anime woman wearing military uniform in front of an erupting volcano. Serious expression, epic display poster for wall art. You can see here what it created. Just like exactly what I asked for. An anime woman in a military uniform standing in front of a volcano looking kind of serious. And there was an image here before. I don't know why that one is now not loading. Maybe it decided that violated the content policy. Here's one that I was really happy with that I made. So I said, high energy, professional, photorealistic promotional packaging for a new candy brand named Dustin Pops on a kitchen table, viral TV commercial, Japanese. And these look pretty cool. This reminds me of, I feel like there was like a big box that Pogs used to come in back in the days, if you know what those were. If you're from the 90s, you've probably seen like a box like this. Maybe it was Pokemon cards that had the box with like the lines on it like this when you get like a whole booster case. Maybe the base set of Pokemon is what I'm thinking of actually, but I really like this. The detail in the background, like the kitchen and stuff looks really good. The lighting's amazing. And we got this one, like a family sitting, Dustin Pops on the TV. There are some little things that kind of stand out in these. So it's not perfect. Definitely DALL-E has got better since DALL-E 2 in terms of like hands and stuff. People don't have like 3 arms and 7 fingers, but if you look here around the TV, this hand is actually coming off the TV, which is kind of weird. This one I really like. There's lots of little details, like the remote has like Japanese writing on it. All of the Dustin Pops font came out perfectly on these, so DALL-E 3 is really nailing text really well now. It's like, again, nice kitchen in the background, looks very clean. This is cool. It's got a variety of different packaging for the Dustin Pops on the TV as well. Something that's kind of weird though is that this kid is animated where everything else is realistic, so it doesn't really blend together that well, I feel like, but other than that, it's pretty cool. So this one I refined a little bit. So I said, basically when you do it, it tells you what it did, and then it says, what one do you like the most? And then if you have any like modification or feedback you want to make. So I said, I like number 3 the most. Can you create 4 more images without humans in them? Make them in the style of over-the-top Japanese commercials with hints of old anime like Pokemon. Have the products surrounded by an outline and glowing with them prominently in the foreground and an out-of-focus background. Have a cartoon animal in the corner of the image with its hands to its cheeks and a wow expression. So I've made these new 4 images. It went a bit hard on the Pokemon theme here, so they all have Pikachu in them, and it decided to write Pokemon instead of Dustin Pops on all of the packages. I'm happy with like the color and how these look. They're really amazing. This one came out. It says Dustin Pops and it's got the explosion and the guy doing the wow face. So that's cool. This one again says Pokemon Pops instead, and it included a human even though I said not to. So I refined this again a 3rd time. I said, these are fantastic, but the text on 3 of them says Pokemon Pops instead of Dustin Pops. Can you remake them to ensure that the only text on the packaging says Dustin Pops? And I'm really happy with especially these first 2. I love this. The background is amazing. The light shining off the product is just everything. When I was thinking of like an over-the-top Japanese like wow commercial, this is exactly what I had in mind. We have got a cute little animated cat here. Be like, wow, Dustin Pops. And then so yeah, I love that one. This is probably my favorite of them all. It's like time and space is melting into the background like a Doctor Who kind of thing. We've got these rainbow bubbles, lightning bolts. It's a really cute cat on the packaging. It says Dustin Pops. Even though I said just include the text Dustin Pops, it threw the Japanese in, which is fine. It really adds to the detail of what I was going for. I've got this one is just like a variation on that other one that I saw already. This one I'm not a big fan of because they threw in a random like screaming man in the background. It's kind of terrifying. I do like the retro look of this box. That's really cool. So overall, I would say I like making these products in the new DALL-E 3. Especially like, I love how these look. I might make more of these. I'm not sure what, but I'm going to make some kind of like product packaging. I just love how these turned out. This is probably my favorite out of everything that I made, but let's look what else I made. We've got this. I said spiritual, trendy logo design featuring a tiger, spirit guide animal totem, rich with symbolism and cultural reference to Thor and Norse paganism. Dark background, lightning, fierce cinematic poster, no text. I'm really happy with how these turned out as well. This one especially looks really good. Yeah, it also, by the way, it tells you like the whole prompt that it used here on the side. So if you want to kind of refine that, you can, but I love this. So you've got the tiger in the middle here. You've got Thor's hammers coming out the side. You've got all these like little rune things around the side and the lightning. This is just beautiful. This one, I don't know how I feel about like the target in the lion's head. It's kind of weird, but everything else looks really good. This one is really cool. It has like an astrology kind of look to it, which I really like. And this one's kind of like similar to the first one. So this one I did some revisions as well. So I said, these are fantastic. Can you incorporate the text Dustin Yark onto all of them? So this is where it went a little bit wrong. So it's got this text up here. It's got like some rune looking stuff, which is fine. It's just got like gibberish in English up here. Then I wrote Dustin Yark. So that's got a typo in it, which is unfortunate. Next one, Dustin Yarg, which also has a typo. I like how this looks, but yeah, it's spelling the name wrong. This one got the name right, so that's awesome, and I like the nice simplistic black and white design of that. This is like a logo that I could use on something almost. I really like that. And then this one, it got Dustin Yark down there, but then it also like has all these weird, almost like Greek lettering up here, and then randomly said THRC for no reason down here. Don't know what that was about, but yeah. That's my tiger image. So yeah, this is probably my favorite one. Let's see. And then I tried to make a book cover for one of my books that I've mentioned in the past, Monsters in Our Midst. Got it. Let me get the actual, nah, I'm not gonna get it off my shelf. It's fine. So this one I said, creepy professional book cover, sales conversion for a young adult novel titled Monsters in Our Midst by Dustin Yark, featuring a shadowy monster with glowing red eyes in a mossy temperate forest, stylized illustration, high contrast colors, eye-catching. These I really like how they turned out, but again, it messed up the font. So it got my name right, but it said Monsters in Our Midst with 2 S's, and then it's just got some like gibberish writing in here. It says the Lale of Creeing, Mikest, blah blah blah. I don't. It's like Illustrator. It's like not even like legible. This one, it has the text, but it cut it off, and again, it's spelled midst wrong. And it says DY Dustin Yark instead of by Dustin Yark. I really like this image though. If you look, yeah, I'm going to show you the actual cover of my book to see how similar this is. So, I'll show you. When I made this cover, Monster in Our Midst, by hand, you can see this is the forest image that I chose for the cover. And then, so this is the forest that it actually made. So pretty similar. It's got like that kind of like a funnel running down the middle with lots of moss and like trees on either side. So I think it's really interesting that the way that I described it came out how I designed it myself. If I could just get that text figured out, everything would be fine, but it's still messed up. This one, it didn't include any text, but the image is cool, kind of like a Bigfoot variation on the previous one. This one, again, the writing is all messed up. I like it. And then it kind of threw it on like a physical, actual hardcover book and put it on a table, which is covered in moss, which is kind of cool. You wouldn't want this for the actual cover that you would have to print on the book, but as like a promotional thing, this is really cool. So I tried to refine this. I said, these look great, but the text is incorrect and all of the images contain typos. Ensure the title is Monsters in Our Midst and the author name is Dustin Yark with no other text. So it did 4 more images. Again, it's full of typos. I like this variation, how like the tree has eyes almost. It's cool. This one, it's very similar. Now there's some like houses in here. It's more of like a Grim Reaper kind of thing. Except now it says Monsters in Our Midst and the writing is half cut off. No author name. So if I was going to design a book cover, I think I would ask it to do a vertical design but not put any text in it, and then what I would do is I would take just the plain image and then I'd go into Canva and I'd add the text myself. But I do like how it adds like the small text. It kind of gives you an idea of how you could kind of like add little flavor text to the book cover as well. This one's kind of cool. Again, it's like the tree with an eye almost. Again, the fonts, whatever, it got the text all wrong. But it wouldn't have been able to do that at all in DALL-E 3, or in DALL-E 2. So I'm guessing in DALL-E 4, it's going to probably master the text by that point. So give it like 6 months to a year and you'll be able to create book covers, I'm guessing, but it's not quite there yet. So I tried this one more time. I said, text is still incorrect. Can you just give me the illustrations with no text and I'll manually add the text myself later? So I did that. I don't like how these turned out because they kind of like split it into multiple images and the book is cut off. This one is fine, but it's not in a good format for a book cover. This one, again, you've got like 2 sides. I don't understand why it did that. And that's like the book on the table. But again, that's kind of cool how it gave me like a front and a back. But because it's not just the plain book itself, that's not super useful. And do I have any more? Let me see. What else do I got here? See what else I made. No, let me see. That. tried to create an image of myself with DALL-E 3, and this one didn't go so great. I did like probably like a dozen attempts and I didn't quite get out what I wanted, but I'll show you what I did here. So I said thoughtful Zen, professional, cartoon, social media display picture, slightly overweight man with brown hair, thick black glasses and a beard, meditating in lotus position, wearing jeans and a plain dark gray t-shirt, holding a Rubik's Cube in one hand and a video game controller in the other. Content and peaceful expression, sitting under a tree in a video game world. No text for a Facebook display photo. And the first time I tried this, it screwed up because I said Xbox controller, I think, and it doesn't like brand names. And I also said a Super Mario world instead of just a video game world. So you got to kind of keep stuff generic or it might throw it out. Like previously in my game, I created that Bart Simpson image, but then it wouldn't create like a Super Mario thing. So it's just trial and error, I guess. You can try names of like brands and people, but sometimes it doesn't like to actually do them. So I like this one. It came out pretty cool. The other ones, it's a little bit too fat. The man boobs are really going out of control here. And that's another thing. I couldn't say like remove the man boobs because using the word boobs automatically violated the ChatGPT content policy and it didn't like that. So I had to say make his chest flatter instead. So I did that. I ended up with this one. It's pretty cool. I don't know. And then I kept revising. I did this one, so I wanted him to have more of like a graying beard, make him look a bit more middle-aged and make his shoes black. So this is probably my favorite one that came out of it. And then I just kind of struggled after this. So I said, instead of a cartoon, can you give me a photorealistic version of this image? Also change it to be in the style of an over-the-top Japanese commercial with hints of an old anime with an outline and glowing. So I kind of took that prompt from the product one that I did and gave me this like Pierce Brosnan looking guy, which is kind of a weird twist to take it in when I said like overweight previously. So I said, great, make him chubbier and less athletic looking. And it gave me this guy. So the thing I've noticed with DALL-E 3 is that there's like thin athletic people with muscles bulging out, and then there's like 400-pound people, and it has difficulty going in between that. I haven't figured out how to go from like something in between these. So I said like, this man's way too fat, but his face is better. Can you make it halfway between these images? And it just went back to like a skinny guy. So now he's got like muscles bulging out of his arms. So that was the whole thing. I said, let's go back to a cartoon style. So I gave up on the photorealistic thing. These are kind of cool, but again, like doesn't look like me because he's just like jacked and too skinny. So I said, make him 25% fatter. Don't make him completely obese and overdo it though, just chubby. And it made him completely obese. Like I said, it really struggles to go kind of in between. I like this one. That was my favorite one. This one, he's got like nipples showing through, which is kind of weird. I said I like number 3 the best, but he's lacking the glasses and also lacking the video game controller. So it made me these ones. This one's really good. It was close to what I wanted, but I don't feel like it looks like me. This one, I really like the lighting and the shading on that. So I told it to take this one and kind of combine them. It kind of failed at that though. But yeah, I said I love the face hair style and shading of number 2, but I prefer the slightly overweight body shape of number 1. Can you combine the best of these 2 images? Also make the beard and the hair more grayish. So I came up with this. This is pretty much like what the first one was. And then it gave me like these other images as well. So number 1 is the best and starting to more closely approach what I'm looking for. Can you add more shadows, detailed lighting, and create 4 new variations? So this one's fine. It's like the same thing, but head on. This one looks kind of weird, and it's got like a bottle cap in his hand. I never noticed that before. And then, these ones are just too skinny. Also, I told it not to do this rolled up pant thing, and then it told me that it fixed it, but it never did. So I just gave up on that. And I said, can you take image number 1 and now let's do a Hindu art style, create 4 variations, please. This one's okay, but the next thing that it struggled with is short hair. I told it to do a crew cut later on and it still won't go short enough. So all these guys have like long hair. I like that it did like a Shiva thing with like 4 arms there. That's kind of cool, but that one too. If I could like, I need to figure out how to like take this and then modify it into what I want. That's what I'm struggling with in terms of prompting so far. So I said, I just gave up and I was like, can you look up the person Dustin Yark and make these images with his face on them? Because I knew if you Google my name, it comes up in Google Images. So I thought I'd be able to do that. It says, sorry, I can't directly look up specific individuals or their likenesses without permission. I said, can you use my likeness if I give you permission? I said, while I appreciate your willingness to provide permission, I can't directly access personal images or likenesses for privacy or security reasons. Okay, so I just said, whatever. Redo image number 1 from the most recent image regeneration, but with shorter hair and a rounder beard. Gave me this one. Again, he keeps getting fatter and fatter every time that I do it. I'm not this fat, okay? I want something in between, like somebody that goes to the gym every day and somebody that's like never exercised in their life. And I can't figure out how to get that. So I said, this is almost perfect. The hair needs to be shorter, like a crew cut. Da-da-da. So this, in my opinion, when I say crew cut, this is still not short enough. It's still doing the hair too long. It starts like throwing in random stuff like these gauged ears. It starts putting the Rubik's Cube on the shirt and not including the video game controller at all. I do like the necklace, the variation that it throws in like this. Oh, I didn't notice this, that the guy's leg is like merged down here. That's the first time that I've seen in DALL-E 3 that it really messed up a limb like that. That's interesting. That's fine. Except the guy's too thin. He's got tattoos. That one's kind of cool. Just, yeah, too thin. Hair's too long, so it doesn't quite look like me. It's getting there, but, you know, I've tried so many times at this point. Okay, so I said number 1 best aligns with my vision in terms of how the man looks. However, the hair is still too long. Make it shorter. Remove the gauge ear holes. Generate 4 new images. Make sure the man is overweight, chubby, and not thin or athletic looking. So I thought maybe if I do this, I can like negative prompt it behind the scenes. I don't know if DALL-E 3 via ChatGPT will allow you to negative prompt, but I tried that. Add the bead necklace from background for number 2, but then it just came back with like super fat looking people again. And for whatever reason, it totally dropped the beard at this point. So it's just like losing critical details that I previously requested. So I don't know. All of these faces in these images are too chubby and they're also lacking beards. Generate 4 new images with beards. Keep the body shape and make the faces thinner without chubby cheeks or double chins. These ones turn out, I told it to remove the gauged ears and it put them back. I like the Rudraksha necklace. This one's probably approaching what I want. I mean, the hair's still a little bit, like the bangs are too long. As far as like the side and the top, it's fine. Did the gauged ears again. Randomly started doing like sleeve tattoos that I didn't ask for. But this is probably pretty close. This one is too fat. This one is too fat. And I guess I didn't specify that I wanted like a European or white person, but it's starting to like, I think because I said Hindu, it's starting to make like more Indian looking people too. So that's the thing. I said number 2 is great. Remove the earrings / gauged ears. Remove all tattoos. Make the hair and beard more gray. So I said I wanted this image without the tattoo and ears, and it gave me this one. So he like suddenly got 50% fatter. It removed the tattoos, but it didn't remove the ears. Now he's got a nose ring for some reason. So that's where I gave up. I don't know. Which of these images do you think looks most like me? And if you like them, maybe I'll use them as like my profile picture or something. I think this is probably the closest. I should have just quit at this point. But yeah, that's my experimentation with using this prompt method that I figured out from Royal Skies on YouTube. Again, I'm going to leave his video in the description so you can check out his explanation and how he like kind of came up with the formula. But definitely try it yourself. If you create any cool images, I don't know how you can share them with me, but let me know somehow. And yeah, got more ChatGPT videos coming in the future, so subscribe if you aren't, and I'll see you in the next one.